When a dog is heard barking frantically from inside of a burning house, the firefighter soldiers rush to save him. But they have no idea what they're up against. On an ordinary day in Brazil, a woman was hanging out with her friends. She had invited them over for a little get-together at their house. It was just a normal evening, or so they thought. The women were chatting away when suddenly one of them noticed something strange. There was a puppy in the corner of the room that they didn't recognize. The puppy must have belonged to one of the women, but none of them knew which one it was. One of the women asked if anyone knew whose puppy this was, but nobody did. They all agreed that they should try to find its owner. The last thing they wanted was for the tiny animal to be alone in the house without any supervision. That was definitely not safe. The ladies split up into teams of 2 and started searching the house. As they went through each room, they called out for the puppy's owner, but there was no answer. The woman who had invited everyone over tried calling her husband, but he didn't pick up. She decided to leave a voice message explaining what had happened. Then she went back to looking for the owner of the puppy. Still, none of them could find anyone. At this point, they were starting to worry about the puppy. They didn't know how long it had been alone, but they didn't want it to stay that way much longer. They needed to find its owner quickly. One of the ladies found the puppy chewing on some electrical wires. This was extremely dangerous, and she immediately pulled the wires away from the puppy. They decided that the best place for the puppy to wait was in the bathroom. So they took it there and left it with some water and food. After a while, one of the ladies came across a little girl crying in one of the bedrooms. The lady asked her what was wrong, and the girl explained that she couldn't find her puppy. The lady's heart broke. She had no idea that the little girl had even had a puppy. But now that she did, she wasn't going to let her down. The lady told the little girl that they were going to take care of the puppy until they found its owner. The little girl was very grateful and thanked the lady for helping her. Then she went back to looking for her puppy. As the ladies continued their search, they found more and more puppies. It seemed like the house was just full of them. They couldn't believe that nobody had ever noticed these puppies before. The ladies were exhausted from all the searching, but they didn't want to give up. They knew that there were still more puppies to find, and they didn't want any of them to be left behind. They worked tirelessly until every single puppy had been accounted for. Meanwhile, the woman who had invited everyone over was trying to contact her husband again. She needed his help to take care of all the puppies, but he still wasn't answering his phone. She decided to go outside and see if she could find him. As she was walking around the yard, she saw a fire in the distance. She couldn't believe her eyes. It was coming from her house. She ran as fast as she could, but it was too late. By the time she got inside, the whole house was engulfed in flames. She could hear the puppies crying out for help, but there was nothing she could do. She watched in horror as the fire destroyed everything she owned. Luckily, none of the women or the puppies were hurt, but they had lost everything. The woman was devastated, but she knew that she couldn't give up. She had to be strong for the puppies. She took them home with her and promised to take care of them. She didn't know how she was going to do it, but she was determined to try. Days turned into weeks, and the puppies grew bigger by the day. The woman was exhausted from taking care of them, but she didn't complain. She knew that they needed her, and she wasn't going to let them down. She loved those puppies like they were her own. She played with them, fed them, and gave them all the love and attention they needed. The woman was determined to find homes for all of them. She put up flyers, contacted animal shelters, and did everything she could. Finally, after a few months, all of the puppies found their forever homes. The woman was happy for them, but she was also sad to see them go. She had grown attached to all of them and would miss their playful energy. But she knew that she had done the right thing. The puppies were happy and healthy, and that's all that mattered. After the fire, the woman had to rebuild her life from scratch. She lost her home, her belongings, and her sense of security, But she knew that she couldn't give up. She had to be strong for herself and for the puppies. With the help of her friends and the community, she was able to rebuild her life. She even found a new and better place to live. The woman was grateful for all the support she received. She knew that she wouldn't have been able to make it through such a tough time without them. One day, the woman was contacted by a local animal charity. They had heard her story and wanted to help. They offered to pay for the puppies' vet bills and to help her find homes for them. The woman was so grateful. She knew that she couldn't do it alone, and this was a much-needed helping hand. With the charity's help, the woman was able to find loving homes for all of the puppies. She cried tears of joy as she watched them leave. She knew that they would be well taken care of, and that made her happy. Before the fire, the woman had never imagined that she would become such a huge animal rights activist. But the experience changed her perspective on life. She realized that every animal deserves a chance at a happy and healthy life, and she dedicated her life to making that happen. The once scared and timid woman was now a confident and outspoken advocate for animals' rights. She traveled all over the country speaking at events and raising awareness. She also worked tirelessly to rescue and rehome animals in need. The woman became known as the Puppy Lady, and her work inspired thousands of people to make a difference in the lives of animals. She proved that one person can make a difference, and that even in the darkest of times, hope can shine through. The story of the brave firefighter soldiers who saved the puppy from the burning house is truly inspiring. Their quick reactions and courage saved the life of an innocent animal. In a moment of crisis, they put their own safety aside to help a helpless creature. The bravery of these firefighters is a reminder that there are still heroes among us who are willing to risk it all to save the lives of others. The firefighters arrived at the scene just in the nick of time. The puppy was trapped on the second floor of the burning building, and the flames were spreading quickly. Without hesitation, the firefighters sprang into action. They climbed ladders and rushed into the burning building, battling the flames and thick smoke to reach the frightened puppy. The heat was intense, and the air was filled with dangerous toxins, but the firefighters pressed on. Their determination to save the puppy was unwavering. Finally, they reached the puppy and quickly scooped it up in their arms. The little animal was terrified, but the firefighters did their best to comfort it. They wrapped it in a blanket and carried it to safety. As they emerged from the burning building, the crowd erupted in applause. The firefighters had done it. They had saved the puppy's life. But their heroic actions didn't stop there. Once the puppy was safe, the firefighters continued to battle the blaze, working tirelessly to put it out completely. They risked their own lives to ensure that the fire wouldn't spread to neighboring buildings and endanger more lives. The firefighters were true heroes that day. Their courage and selflessness saved both the puppy and the community. As word spread of the firefighters' heroic actions, they were hailed as local heroes. People came from all over to thank them and shake their hands. The firefighters were humble and modest, though, and simply saw it as part of the job. They had put their training and dedication to good use and saved a life. That was all that mattered. The story of the brave firefighter soldiers who saved the puppy from the burning house is a testament to the power of courage and compassion. These everyday heroes remind us that there is still good in the world, and that one day we might just need their help.